100, folks. I believe it's that time. My apologies, folks. That didn't go quite as planned. It was supposed to just explode and have the confetti go flying out of there, but I guess because I had it sitting there on the shelf for so friggin' long, I just decided not to do it. Anyway, so it looks like we finally made it. Episode 100. Been nearly 3 years, and we've evolved more so during that time than your offspring have evolved in the first 3 decades of their life. Probably not, but it's just a joke. Yeah, so if you were to ask me 3 years ago, back in episode 1, how I thought they would come to be in episode 100, I would not be able to tell you. I'd probably just say probably the same thing as what they're doing now. So as far as I can recall, episode 200 might be something completely different and even more edited and stuff. I hope I still enjoy the episodes I do now by then. I mean, I guess technically I could have said the same thing back then, but look how those turned out. So, I'm sure you guys know this, but Behemoth Blogmaster is just some simple, not so complex blog series that I've been doing for, like I said, nearly 3 years. It'll be turning 3 years old in May. Today we're going to talk about 6 Undercooked episodes. Now, episode 50 was going to be my favorite episodes, but I thought that'd be too boring, and I changed it up to be the Donkey Kong episode, whatever. But basically, I decided to turn the tables around and make it, well, not necessarily my least favorite episodes. We're just going to talk about 6 episodes that either shouldn't have been made to begin with, or they didn't live up to their full potential. There's probably more than just 6, but let's face it, we'll be here all day. If you haven't watched Behemoth Blogmaster before, in the description I'll make sure to put the episodes I recommend you watch down there. Obviously it's up to you. I mean, you might like one episode I don't, but I'm just trying to steer you in the right direction here. Because I could not give a crap how bad or good my videos were back then. When I say or good, it's not like they were good at all. I mean, very rarely they were. I mean, let's just talk about how we've evolved. So, if you remember episode 1, I talked about the different eras of my blog career. It's not a career, but I just want to call it that. It would have started in era 3. I had a series called, and I don't think we need to honor this thing's name because it's so atrocious, but Incredible Blog King. And it was trash. Like, really freaking trash. Holy crap, you do not want to see it. If you think the worst that Behemoth Blogmaster has to offer is bad, do not watch IBK. Well, you can't watch it anyway, it's not up anymore. But basically, I'll give you an example of some of the stuff I would blog about in IBK. It'd be stuff like, why is the word Colonel spelled the way it is? Or please make Luigi's Mansion for Wii U. Yeah, this was a long time ago, by the way. Frickin' hell, man, you could not have done worse. I don't care if it's your first video ever, even that is unacceptable. But I made like 174 of those things, so I guess technically episode 1 of BBM would be episode 175 of IBK, but we're not going to acknowledge IBK anymore. It's in the past and it's gone for good. Thank freaking Lord. But like I said earlier, let's talk about how we've evolved in the BBM era. Episode 9, I got my first lamp. Well, I don't want to say first, but basically I got a lamp for my desk. And you can see my face a bit better. Okay, now it took a long ass time to go to the next step, but episode, 77? I decided I'd finally quit slacking off and actually tweak some episodes to make it go faster. Because you see, a slower paced episode isn't always bad. Some of them can be quite good. It's just, it's gonna throw a lot of people off if they're gonna go this freaking slow. So, okay, starting with episode 77, real true next step, they've been edited. The season 7 would have been episodes 83 to 93, and I tried a different experiment with those. I tried to do like green screens and crap, and it didn't last too long. It only lasted that one season. And then, starting with episode 94 all the way up to now, I have a theme, a music theme for the episodes. So as far as I can tell, the future might bring something new. I mean, if you remember episode 98, I'm going to get a new bedroom, so that might, if you want to count that as something new, then go ahead. But anyways, we've been here long enough. I'm going to give to you 6 episodes that I thought could have been better or should not have been made at all. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, the first episode we're going to be talking about is the very first episode. What is this Momo stuff? I thought it'd be most appropriate to start there. Well, actually, I kind of have these in order from smallest number to largest number. So obviously I'm going to start with the first episode, right? Okay, so what was wrong with this episode? Well, obviously the slowness of it, but that's not the main problem. Momo, if you don't remember, was that chicken lady from a few years back, and it was kind of the meme, I guess. The episode was talking about how schools are sending out warnings to parents about Momo and how it's threatening, but I was like, bruh, just to block the number. That's basically what I was talking about in that episode. So what went wrong? Well, for starters, half the episode, which would have been 8 minutes, was nothing but me telling you my past videos and how they were garbage. Even more garbage than this episode was. Of course, I didn't say that in the episode itself. Back then I thought it was fine, but basically, it's the most popular BBM with over 2,000 views. And back in the day when you could look at dislikes, it had like 9 dislikes and 12 likes. So, okay, I don't blame you for not liking this one. I spent half the episode just saying something completely unrelated. A lot of older episodes, I just blabber my ass off with unimportant crap. You came here because you saw something on the thumbnail or in the title, you want to hear about that. You don't want to hear about, oh, my computer is so freaking old, I need to get a new one. Yeah, that was the problem with a lot of older episodes. I think I have improved in that regard, but even if that wasn't an issue, does Momo really need its own episode? By today's standards, no. I mean, I guess it's kind of clever how you're like sharing your opinions on it and how it's not that big a deal. I mean, maybe it is, it's just, just not seeing the full picture yet. But I don't know. I don't think it was an episode that needed to be made. To be fair, it was the first of a new era, so I guess it could have been worse. Alright, the second episode we'll be talking about today is episode 20, The Wizard Graduation. Now this is the prime example of Undercooked. It was about Harry Potter. Now you'd think that you would fill a whole another book full of blog ideas for Harry Potter. Like, there's so much potential in a Harry Potter episode. But it was completely flattened out and hardly anything was in that episode. And you know what's funny? I have an Instagram post about Harry Potter that had more freaking details in it than this did. So, okay, should I go back to Harry Potter? Should I ever do that again, or should I just move on? I'm trying my best not to do too many reduxes and remakes of older episodes, and I already have one planned once I get to 75 subscribers, so yeah, I'm not sure about that. But basically, this episode was about how wizards graduate, basically. Like, in the episode I stated that Harry Potter started in 5th grade, if I remember correctly, and there were 7 books in the main series. We're not counting that 8th book. So, if we do the math here, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Where's 12th? And to this day, I still don't think I have a solid answer as to why he skipped that year, or even if he skipped that year, but basically, that was what the episode was about. But that's about it. You could have added more to it, could have added more layers, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, I just felt like this episode came through short. It's not like the worst episode ever, but my god, he could have done better. Speaking of the worst episode ever, the following episode, episode 21, Territory of the Low IQs, volume 2. Okay, any of the sequels to this original episode could have been on here, but this one's the worst. In fact, it might be my least favorite episode, period. Or definitely in the bottom 3 at least. I had this idea back then that I was going to make a franchise of a certain topic. Kind of like AVGN with his Bible episode saga or something. But what I didn't understand is that you gotta make sure there's enough material to work with to span 4 freaking episodes. The first Territory of the Low IQs was basically just me talking about people being stupid. And it was not like, at first I thought this was an amazing episode, it's just average by today's standards. But any of the sequels, volume 2, 3, and 4, no, don't watch those. You see, I had this idea that, while I've had quite a few people doing quite a few stupid things, maybe this could really last a long time. But no, it didn't. These were pathetic excuses for episodes, all these sequels, and it shouldn't have continued past just 1 volume. I mean, I would try to switch things up a bit by talking about, like, oh, myself when I did stupid stuff back then. And also I tried to talk about people in movies doing stupid stuff, but it's all just the same thing, getting repetitive and stupid as hell. If this episode has anything going for it, which I don't think it does, but it tells a story of when I got a text message from some dumbass over the phone that was trying to be all rough and tough and threatening me and stuff. You know, this reminds me of episode 27, Enough with the False Alarms. Back then I had way too many anger issues, and I guess technically I still kind of do, but at least I'm not getting that angry in my videos these days. Like, if you're gonna be frustrated, do it outside your YouTube. Like, we all know, YouTube is the perfect place to express your emotions, am I right? Because that's what people want to see you. They want to see you complaining and crap. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were assholes that worked in my school, and I am not giving them any more remorse in 1,000 years. But why even acknowledge them if you hate them that much, you know what I mean? Well, and then Territory Low IQs Volume 2, somebody gave me their phone number and I thought I'd text them, and I guess I sent something that could have been offensive, I don't know, but basically some guy is like, threatening me, and I don't know, it's pretty freaking stupid. I've forgotten most of this, and I don't care to remember it anyway. I mean, you are right, Kale. Anybody who threatens you like that is a stupid bitch idiot who's going straight to hell, or at the very least prison. But he could have said it in a way that was not so ear-piercingly cringe. I would say stuff like, oh, you don't mess with me! Look, guys, did you really think for 1 second that you'd be able to get away with texting somebody you don't know? Like, really? Did you think that for 1 second? Have you never heard of phone trackers? We're gonna send your number to the police and they're gonna come to your house. Thankfully it didn't come to that, but we sent it to the principal and she took care of it. Freaking idiots. Well, I don't know if you can tell this or not, but I've been recording for 60 minutes and we're only like halfway done with these episodes, so this is gonna be a juicy episode. That's good, because it's the 100th one, so why not? Alright, episode 32. This is the 4th one on our list today. It's called Easter Egg Overdose. Okay, so this episode had some potential like the Harry Potter one, except, well, where do I begin? I was getting false information out. It's not like a big deal, but even still, it's a straight out lie. This episode was kind of boring. Basically, just talking about Easter eggs and what they mean. We're not talking about the Easter eggs. We're just talking about software, hidden gems, or whatever you want to call it, just hidden things in software. So what's the lie you're talking about? Well, basically we're talking about movies and stuff, and other things, of course, if we're talking about Easter eggs. But basically, I stated in that episode, I specifically said, well, movies are only movies if they go to the movie theater. They're only films if they go to DVD or Netflix or whatever. I do believe this was before the pandemic, and so obviously that's not true. I don't know what you want to classify as a real movie or not, but there are movies that don't have to go to theaters in order to be classified as movies. They might be sucky movies, some of them at least, but they're still movies. So I recommend you stay away from this episode. It's not really worth it. Alright, episode 39 is the 5th one. It's called Driving Me Crazy. Now, to be fair, I actually kind of like this episode. It might be the only one on this list that is actually alright. The only problem I have with this one is that it's kind of overloaded with cringe, just like a lot of those older videos were. The cringe level is a bit too high. Basically, I was talking about the reasons I don't have my own driver's license, and I wanted to prove to the whole world, hey, I don't give a damn. It's my life, I'm not going to drive until I say I'm ready. I just wanted to prove to the world that not everybody likes the idea of driving at age 16 or 17 or whatever. And to this day, I still do not have my own car. Because if you think about it, it's kind of dangerous. I mean, I'm sure I'll get used to it one day, but it's like, why do so many young kids feel excited when they turn 16 and want to start driving? It's like, wouldn't that scare you a bit? I mean, maybe that's just me, but I just kind of find it scary just to be on the road. Like, operating the car myself, forget about it. I'm sure it'll happen one of these days, but right now, forget about it. But to be honest, this episode was actually not too bad. It kind of had a good message and stuff like that. Alright, our last episode for today is episode 65, Ideas and Losers. This one was freaking dumb. I know that in the past 5 episodes I just talked about, I was kind of making sure each episode was unique from the other ones in that regard, but this one I kind of had to just throw in there because I needed 6 episodes and I only had 5. This episode was basically just me stating inventions and how they're stupid. Sounds familiar, right? Sounds kind of like Territory of the freaking Low IQs. Don't you think we have enough of that crap? Not a very good episode. Not the worst, but not the best either. I recommend you stay away from this one as well. Well, in conclusion, I am glad to be a blogger. Like I said it earlier, well, I don't know if I actually said it, but basically, the episodes I might be making now may be sucky compared to what I make 3 years in the future. If I'm still making them by then, which I assume I will be, but who knows. I don't know what episode number we'll be at, probably not 200 because BBMs are coming out less frequently than they used to be, so I don't know, maybe in 2025 we'll be at like episode 150 or something, I don't know, that's just a guess. I may have even better editing material by then, and you know, I have a lot of money. I'm not trying to brag, but I hardly spend anything, and it's like, Kale, if you need the editing materials and you got the money, why not just buy some editing materials? But I don't know how that stuff works. Thanks for sticking with me for the past 3 years. What do we have planned for the future? Well, obviously nothing right now. I mean, the ideas have to come first. I can't wait to see how much more we evolve, if we evolve anymore. I'm glad you have enjoyed the majority of these episodes, and I would say something cool and epic to end the video, but I have nothing. So I guess I'll just say, I'll see you in the next episode. If you want to become a blogger yourself, I'd say be more original, but if you want to do it so badly, go ahead. Just don't rip me off. Alright, well, love you guys. I'm out.